Hello there, this is Bethany, retired funeral director turned dog groomer. 9 months ago, my man friend, our daughter and myself left our comfortable and established lifestyle in Ontario, Canada, for a life we always chatted about during morning coffee, fast-tracking our retirement plans, chasing our dreams, risking our future in the race against old age. We purchased 7 unseen acres in the wilderness of Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia. We downsized everything we owned, loaded up a trailer, our dog, 2 cats, ATV, and hauled it to our new land. What we knew for sure was our life was about to make a drastic change. What we didn't know was that we were relocating to the most gorgeous place we've ever seen. We took a chance and it was worth it. Join us as we navigate through our new RV lifestyle. New climate, new landscape, new wildlife, building a world we dreamed of in a place only seen in postcards from the ground up. Thanks for visiting and subscribe to my channel if you would enjoy the content of a 40-something gal running away into the woods with her family. Aw, welcome back, friends, to another boring time with Bethany. I'm happy to report no major issues or disasters to speak of at this time. In fact, we are as caught up as we can be in this very moment. I love the days when at the same time our water reserves are full, that the laundry is washed, the RV is clean, the garbage is out, firewood stacked, groceries stocked, and outhouse emptied and fresh. Nothing like a completely clean slate every couple weeks. It's one of my favorite days. We are ever evolving around here in the wilderness, and we are learning more and more each day how to maintain a beautiful routine. Staying warm, clean, fed, and rested. Dare I say, things have almost been easy lately. Man friend and I chit-chatting often about little things we can do or not do, and projects we can adjust to keep comfortable in this new lifestyle. Not just for him and I, but for our preteen daughter here with us, as well as our young adult daughter back home in Ontario. I actually forget a lot of times that we live here in a house on wheels. I could honestly manage life exactly as it is forever and ever. It's perfect. Alas, we do have fun plans for our future here. 2 biggest things being, we do have a house to build, and we have a yard to clean up. And by yard, I mean 7 acres. Aside from the big stuff going on, we also want to tweak and upgrade a few things with regards to our RV. A good clean and a good once-over of every line, valve, wire, and tank. Just a big overhaul is required now that we have a closer relationship with it. I find when things are going smoothly and are stress-free, I can relax easier to fully and properly reminisce and appreciate everything we have here. I mean, I love every minute of our life on Cape Breton Island. It's truly a dream every single day. But when things go sideways, break down, or when times get a little tougher, it is easy to briefly lose sight of the whole picture. The miracle of this place, though, is that it takes just a moment to look around and I'm snapped right back to beautiful reality. I mean, our water pipe might have burst, but it burst in paradise. Let me tell you a little story about the time man friend and I made the absolute decision to leave our southwestern Ontario lives for good and up and relocate to Atlantic Canada. It wasn't an overnight thought, of course, but a few years in the making, and it all started with a TV show. I'll have more on that later, but the concrete decision was made on a very early but beautiful sunny morning. Man friend and I enjoying a coffee on our back deck watching the sun come up. We were talking about our retire East Canada dreams again, when a thought came into my mind and I said to man friend on the spot, "So if we wait until our mid-50s to do this big life change, do you think that we will be physically able and well enough to do the work that we need to do, and then maintain it? I mean, I'm sore now after a long day." Manfred paused and blinked at me. He added, "Yeah, then we may be too old to even fully enjoy it." I paused and blinked at him, and we looked at each other and just sat silently for a minute, and no word of a lie, right at that moment, an eagle flew towards us from the field behind our house. We both pointed at it, and we were like, "Look, an eagle!" and watched it fly over us. And just so you know, it is a rare sight to see an eagle in southwestern Ontario. It's not impossible, but it's rare. I think Manfred and I had the exact same thought at the exact same moment, because we just both said out loud, "We should just do it now. Like, what's stopping us from doing this now?" Then something just switched in us right then. And looking back, it was like I knew, yep, this is going to happen, and it's going to happen now. So in August 2022, we made that big decision. By September, we got rid of 80% of our stuff. And by October, we had purchased our land on the island. And by April, the next spring, we were standing on paradise. Okay, so the good news is my grooming blades came back just in time from the sharpeners. Oh my goodness, we're talking by the skin of my teeth. Got all these doodles lined up for appointments the next few weeks, and I thought if those blades aren't back, it'll be impossible for me to do those dogs. So last chance, I tracked the package, and it said at that moment, like within 3 minutes, it had dropped it off, and I'm like, oh, it's there. So I ran over to the post office and I got my blades back. Oh, and I already have 10 to send back for sharpening, so I won't let this dilemma happen again. It's very, very beautiful looking out the windows at all this snow. I'm busier with dogs now because I'm established, so now I have bookings. I've got dogs booked right up to mid-March, and also through the summer, because seasonal dogs, people that visit the island in the summer, I've got some of their dogs booked for this summer again, like repeat. And so I just keep booking dogs every day. There's a lot of dogs to groom around here, but it's not overwhelming anymore. Like, I can keep up with it. I'm still booked up like 3 weeks-ish out. Full kind of thing, but I don't overload myself because I do have the Airbnb I like to clean, and I like to give myself afternoons to do that. So there's some days where I'm grooming in the morning, I have a coffee break, go over to the Airbnb, clean, get my daughter off the bus, and there's my full day, and that's a beautiful day, you know, I love it. That cleaning job is a good job. Things are going to start picking up here after February. I have groomings this month and next month. But with the road last week, I had to reschedule some dogs. So there was a week there where I hardly had any grooming, and it was stressing me out. But at the same time, my blades weren't ready. So it was like a kind of worked out, but it was it worked out, but in a bad way. Anyway, my blades are back now. Check it out. These are all sharp. These are all back up sharp. And I already have a bag ready to be shipped out. There's 10 in here that are dull, so I'll be sending them out to the sharpeners likely this week or next, because then there's no rush and no panic. Whew. I'm a creature of habit. If I like something, I like it, and I use it all the time. If I have a good routine, I keep it that way. I try. Keeps me happy to be on a routine. And this morning's dog, a doodle, his name is Russell. Isn't that cute? So there's way more to this new life change than a decision Manfriend and I made on the deck. Life is just so funny, you know? I mean, Manfriend and I just always knew from the moment we started sharing our life together that we wanted to retire eventually in the wilderness. We've always said that. In fact, our first real boyfriend-girlfriend date was a quiet camping trip on the shores of Lake Erie with a 2-man tent, small propane cooker, and a bottle of Baileys. Outdoorsy hard workers who appreciate the roads less traveled. That's us. And speaking of traveled, we've always traveled very well together also. Finding off-the-beaten-path villages to visit where we hang out with locals, prepare our own food, and embrace lifestyles around us versus luxury resorts and spas. I always knew Manfriend and I would retire well together when the time came because we have the same likes. Our priorities and values are the same. Cape Breton Island officially came into play when Manfriend took a job on the oil rigs in northern Alberta nearly 12 years ago now. There, he met his good friend Norm, who talked so much about how he moved to Cape Breton from Newfoundland to be with his now wife, and how amazing the island was. Norm showed pictures to Manfriend, who would return home to show them to me. We both fell in love with this paradise in Nova Scotia, and thus birthed our future dream, to live in the wilderness of Cape Breton Island. We sat on that dream for nearly a decade, always chatting about the things that we would do, how amazing it would be. Then, the time when things really kicked into high gear on the daydream front, a time called the year 2020, when the world shut down and no one knew what to do with themselves. I decided to take that extra free time hiking all day, learn to forage wild food, and educate myself on wild plants. It quickly became a big hobby of mine, and it filled any spare minute that I was wasting. That was the year that I got into watching a lot of YouTube videos about foraging food and cabin builds and wilderness life and all that fun stuff. I also became really into van lifers, boondock campers, and bushcrafters. And that was the year that I randomly got into a show on the History Channel called Alone. It was specifically season 7. And as someone who has not watched television in more than 5 years, I genuinely knew nothing about that show. But let me tell you straight up, looking back, from the minute I clicked play on episode 1, my life began to change, literally. I can't wait to tell you more about that on my next video. Hope to see you for part 2. Ciao for now.